motherfucker.
Hello, my loves. How are you all today? I am back from convention land. We went to A&E. I flew all the way out to Boston with June. A con from which I had no goodies because we did not actually go to the dealer's den at all. The lines were too crazy. Basically the whole weekend. So we just didn't even bother. Howdy of Hoppy. Moonlight Dust Furry, hey, welcome in. Hi, John Rains. Cats are wandering around my feet. We're back in town. I have a few things I wanted to talk about today. I want to go over the press conference that recently happened. I want to... That makes sense. Yeah, I want to play. I want to go over some of the press conference where they were talking about Greenland and stuff today. I figure I'll make it a little more palatable than maybe just watching it alone. I want to start off a little lighter note though. I was bombarded this morning. Not bombarded really, but I'm being a little dramatic. But I did find this morning a follow from an account on Blue Sky that I'd not heard of before. I was looking into it, and it could, because I'll pull it up here on screen so you can see. Is this game that's claiming to be a like sapphic romantic game, using JRPG inspiration, pixel art. It says it's an indie studio built in Godot, so I was like, oh cool, this is something I should look into. But I realized all of this art has the fucking piss filter. It's all none of these characters look the same in any of their renders. The backgrounds are like a nondescript, lazy nonsense. Yuri bait for the new decade is fucking wild. That's a great sentence. There was a panel that I saw in here where she has like baby legs. Yeah, look at this. Like, what is going on here? Where is her lower half? She just turns into the covers. It's wild because like I feel like they couldn't even be bothered to write their own stuff. This does not make you an indie studio. There's no gameplay, there's nothing. Your radar didn't even register background noise. Incredible. You can open up their website. An indie studio from Vespera about storytelling, art, and a love story between two women. It's about storytelling and love story. It's also listing 3 things. We've got M dashes, which again are not a sign of AI, but when you see all of the things all of the time, it starts to look like it. Very lazily placed text over this, no like background drop or anything. I do not want a queer woman-loving woman story from this. The Catsley incident? I didn't see that. Yeah, it's just... You can't quote yourself. You cannot quote your own self. Gordon Room, founder and creative lead of Nixie and Mina. This is... And it's... Oh god, it's gonna be so... Can we find this guy? Who's Gordon Room? Obituary? I hope not. Well, I mean, that would be funny, right? I don't think this is probably him. This is probably just a guy. Does this help at all? It's just him putting his name on all of the... Jason Room. Okay. No. We're not going to be able to find anything. It's all just him quoting. This is like some coming out of nowhere, nobody. Could not even be bothered to write his own website, because I know how ChatGPT writes its overviews. That's what this is. That is the AI writing this. All of their sites, like all of the pages on this site look like this. Read article. Read story texts. Okay. What's really sad about this too is that if you go far enough down, You see them doing actual pixel art and like working in Godot to make an actual thing, like doing animation, drawing in their notebook. Like, this is all art. Why did you give up? Was it too hard? Did you think it was gonna be easier? This is just, it's just lazy to give up. Like, I think this is cool. This is like a good, they're starting their work. But they're using AI even all the way down here. Like, I like that none of the pixel art renders look the same either. Like, there's this, but this guy doesn't look anything like that. This doesn't look like it matches the art style at all. Generic background, probably. Just no actual information about what this is. And just saying like, oh, Google now lists Nixie and Mina in the same JRPG romance context as titles I grew up in deeply admire. It doesn't. It doesn't exist. This isn't a real project. Like, this isn't something that exists. You don't have anything to show for this other than some lazy fucking AI art. Oh my god. These are like full of M dashes, full of triplets. Could not even be bothered to write your own lore, dude. Had to get an AI to write the lore. I feel like a view/like miner. I don't know. I think this is literally somebody's project. It genuinely doesn't look like it's big enough to be anything. It's got like nobody following it. I have no idea what it's doing. I just think that this person should just go back to actually drawing their artwork and writing their lore themselves. You should be allowed to draw stuff that's not that great. Like, this is fine. I like it. Make a Tumblr and draw a bunch of stuff and then start taking estrogen, babe. I'm sorry, but you, like... I don't feel like the average cis man puts this much effort into thinking about their lesbian OCs. That's just advice, I guess. I can't really claim anything. That one's just maybe advice. We're not supposed to call it, but oh my god. That's what I'm saying, is they just like gave up, I guess. Like, what? Code. You don't have code. You're just like... You're just making it... You're making a machine... You don't have code. The game doesn't exist. Like, there's no demos. When people have actual indie game projects, they are super excited to show off all of their stuff. They're so excited to show off all of their builds. No minimum viable product, nothing. You don't know what your game is. You just think JRPG. This is like... This is the person who's like, this is the quintessential AI person to me, is somebody that's like, oh, I have such good ideas, and the only thing holding back my amazing ideas is that I'm just not creative enough, I guess, in any aspect, and I don't care enough about my ideas to like get good at the art. So I just, instead of like writing a bunch of shitty fan fiction until I'm good at it, or drawing a bunch of shitty art until I'm good at it, or doing anything like that I would respect, Instead, they're like, oh, I will, like, obviously my idea is so good it will hold up itself, and then everyone will get so excited about this. Do you think I can join this guy's Discord? You think he'll let me in? Three members. This begins to feel like bullying. Maybe not. Perhaps we shall not. I guess. I guess. That or it's like some teenager, right? And I'm so sorry if it is just some teenager who's making their stuff. You just keep drawing your art. Just keep making stuff. Don't use AI. I have a bit of a head cold from traveling, so please excuse me. Yeah. This I wanted to talk about too. I think Rain shared this earlier. Scientists were doing some experiments mimicking the Big Bang's conditions, and accidentally did alchemy and turned lead into gold. Medieval alchemists dreamed of transmuting lead into gold. Today we know that lead and gold are different elements, and no amount of chemistry can turn one into the other. But our modern knowledge tells us the basic difference between an atom of lead and an atom of gold. The lead atom contains exactly 3 more protons. So can we create a gold atom by simply pulling 3 protons out of a lead atom? As it turns out, we can, but it's not easy. While smashing lead atoms into each other at extremely high speeds in an effort to mimic the state of the universe just after the Big Bang, physicists working on the ALICE experiment at Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland incidentally produced small amounts of gold. Extremely small amounts. In fact, a total of some 29 trillionths of a gram. So, it looks like they were in the Large Hadron Collider. I'm not going to read all of this stuff. But apparently they near missed the atom, smashed into a lead atom, and therefore, technically, they turned lead into gold. Gold is gold, we did alchemy, baby. And people were saying, yeah, all you need is a gigantic transmutation circle. Perhaps the size of Switzerland. Extremely cool. Alright. I have a few things that I want to go through. I have some fact checks that I wanted to do. I think the first thing I want to do is I wanted to show us, just to remember, right, how just a few years ago, the Republican Party, MAGA in general, were shitting and pissing and soiling themselves so hard that even people on the left were, like, some liberals were buying into it, that Biden was so old and he was so senile. And, like, yeah, probably. But let's watch one of his, like, I pulled up one that specifically is marked here as, like, this is some grifter, a year ago, 85,000 views. Biden has worst press conference ever. Democrats in panic mode, all right? Let's watch this guy's interview. Let's watch this guy's press conference. And then we're gonna watch Trump's press conference from today. And we'll see if we can spot any similarities. We'll start with turning the music off, though.
I'm well-meaning, and I'm an elderly man, and I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been president, and I put this country back on its feet. I don't need his recommendation. It's totally out. Your memory, and can you continue?
They're just interrupting this. That is the president of the United. First of all, that is the president of the United States, and you are interrupting him here. But obviously, I don't give a shit. I am not exactly the arbiter of decorum. But like, these are supposed to be people that are, right? I guess the media, maybe not.
My memory is so bad I let you speak.
That was funny.
No, look.
Yeah.
My memory is not good. My memory is fine. My memory, take a look at what I've done since I've become president. None of you thought I could pass any of the things I got passed. How'd that happen? You know, I guess I just forgot what was going on.
I just think it's worth showing. Like, let's remember exactly how bad Biden was. If he's supposed to be the one
Only by some of you.
that was the worst ever.
I take responsibility for not having seen exactly what my staff was doing.
And I think it's also important to like listen to the things that he's saying, the kind of things that he's like, that obviously they were using as ammunition at the time. Oh, he's taking aspirin, not Tylenol, not Tylenol, no Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol.
Mr. President, for months when you were asked about your age, you would respond with the words, watch me. Many American people have been watching, and they have expressed concerns about your age.
That is your judgment. That is your judgment. That is not the judgment of the press.
They express concerns about your mental acuity. They say that you are too old. Mr. President, in December, you told me that you believe there are many other Democrats who could defeat Donald Trump. So why does it have to be you now?
There's also a big difference, I think, in how the press treats Biden versus Trump. You can hear them talking over Biden in Trump's press conferences. They're all like clamoring to be chosen by him, and he like deigns to speak to them. It feels very strange to me. Hey there, welcome in. Whoa, multiple aspirin a day?
I did not share classified information. I did not share it. With my ghostwriter, I did not. Guarantee you did not. Well, no, they did not say that. He did not say that. Well, let me answer your question.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, what I didn't want repeated, I didn't want him to know, and I didn't read it to him, was I had written a long memorandum to President Obama why we should not be in
that makes sense.
Afghanistan. And I was multiple pages. And so what I was referring to, I said classified. I should have said should be private because it was a contact between the president and the vice president as to what was going on. That's what he's referring to. It was not classified information in that document. That was not classified.
When you look back at this incident, is there anything you would do differently now? And do you think that a special prosecutor should have been appointed in the first place in both of these cases?
First of all, what I would have done is oversee the transfer of the material that was in my offices. I should have done that. If I go back, I didn't have the responsibility of that.
Question becomes, how much more of this nightmare can Democrats tolerate before they replace him as their presidential nominee?
I know how half the boxes got in my garage until I found out staff gathered them up.
Yeah, this is like if you stuck my grandpa in a room with 100 people who desperately wanted to make him sound like an asshole. Like, yeah, maybe he'll sound a little bit like an asshole. I don't know. I don't like Biden, right? Like, I didn't like his policy. I think he's a weird genocidal freak. But let's remember, this is like the worst. This is what they were pulling up. Is like, this is the worst press conference ever.
And all the stuff that was in my home was in filing cabinets that were either locked or able to be locked. It was in my house. It wasn't out in Mar-a-Lago in a public place where. And none of it was high classified. Didn't have any of that red stuff on it. You know what I mean? Around the corners? None of that. And so I wish I had paid more attention to how the documents were being moved and where. I thought they were being moved to the archives. I thought all of it was being moved. That's what I thought. Now, what was the last part of your question?
Whether a special counsel
Yeah, probably.
appointed in this case and in the case of your rival president, former
I
president?
think a special counsel should have been appointed. And the reason I think a special counsel should have been appointed is because I did not want to be in a position that they looked at Trump and weren't going to look at me, just like they looked at the vice president. And the fact is they made a firm conclusion. I did not break the law, period. Thank you all very, very much.
That seems very clear to me. And he's done very well.
I'm of the view, as you know, that the conduct of the response in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip, has been over the top.
Yeah, I'd say.
That, as you know, initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in. I talked to him. I convinced him to open the gate. I talked to Bibi to open the gate on the Israeli side. I've been pushing really hard to get humanitarian assistance into Gaza. There are a lot of innocent people who are starving, a lot of innocent people who are in trouble and dying, and it's got to stop.
It sounds like I mean, obviously he's the president isn't the sole reason that things like this are happening. He is still ultimately bound down to his overlords or whatever, which sucks, right? That is not a good thing. He is bound to all of his contracts and he has to say what he has to say. But I think he came back to the microphone here. It sounds like he's genuinely trying to be like, I fucked up a little. I don't know if I can vouch for remorse, obviously, for the scale of what's happening, but he seems like he really is trying. He fucked up and said Mexico instead of Egypt, right? And I remember they made a big fuss about that at the time.
Increase the amount of material going in, including fuel, including other items. I've been on the phone with the Qataris, I've been on the phone with the Egyptians, I've been on the phone with the Saudis to get as much aid as we possibly can into Gaza. There are innocent people, innocent women and children who are also in badly in need of help.
That is very true.
That's what we're pushing, and I'm pushing very hard now to deal with this hostage ceasefire because, I've been working tirelessly in this deal. How can I say this without revealing? To lead to a sustained pause in the fighting, in the actions.
I think he's really trying to say the right words too, right? He's not struggling to get through his sentences. He's trying to be able to say something helpful without giving away classified information, probably. And again, I'm not in support of this guy, really. But this is the worst of the worst, right?
The initial delay, I think that we would be able to extend that so that we could increase the prospect that this fighting in Gaza changes. There's also negotiations. You may recall, in the very beginning, right before Hamas attacked, I was in contact with the Saudis
and
others.
Yeah, I would agree.
Where they would recognize Israel's right to exist, make them part of the Middle East, recognize them fully in return for certain things that the United States would commit to do. And the commitment that we were proposing to do related to two items. I'm not going to go in detail, but one of them was to deal with the protection against their arch enemy to the northwest, northeast, I should say. The second one, by providing ammunition and material for them to defend themselves.
At least you weren't going into detail.
Coincidentally, that's the time frame when this broke out. I have no proof what I'm about to say, but it's not unreasonable to suspect that the Hamas understood what was about to take place and wanted to break it up before it happened.
Okay, obviously I'm not gonna co-sign any of that stuff, but like, oh my goodness, that's the worst. That's the worst. He mumbles through it. He's hard, you know, whatever. That's the worst one. Worst essay or worst interview I've ever seen from a president. You know, he's just so old and so senile and so unable to hold office. You know, he should be disqualified for being too old.
Wow, it's a big crowd. It's a lot of people. I think it's like a record. So
Why do you get...
these are accomplishments. We have a lot of accomplishments, and as you know,
we have a lot of accomplishments.
first anniversary, January 20th, and it's been an amazing period of time. We have
I mean, that is a word for it, Mr. President. I'm not sure if I would use the word amazing particularly. Incredible, certainly, right? Like, it literally, strains credulity that it could get that bad so fast.
book that I'm not going to read to you, but these are the accomplishments of what we've produced. All page after page after page.
Bro got a big stapled together thing of White House accomplishments. Or just look at my book. Look at my book of all the things I did in a year. There's so many pages.
All page after page after page. Individual things.
Immense.
I could stand here and read it for a week and
Please do.
finished.
No, please do that.
More than any other administration has done by far in terms of military, in
I-
terms of
Those are
ending
all
wars,
blank
in
pieces
terms
of paper.
completing wars.
We were really racist.
Nobody's really seen very much like it. I think it's appropriate that because Minnesota is so much in the fray, and I say to my people all the time, and they're so busy doing other things, they don't say it like they should. They're apprehending murderers and drug dealers and a lot of bad people.
Lies.
And
Lies.
these are just some
Lies.
of the more recent.
That's what. Are you saying that about the people of Minnesota that are being arrested? It's not who I saw being arrested.
Ones that we have, and I can show you some of the
Cute.
people. Vicious, many of them murderers.
You're making that up. You don't have any proof for that.
Just Minnesota. I say, why don't you talk about that more? Because people.
He's just holding up signs. They gave him signs to hold up. That's so cute.
Why don't you talk about that?
Look at this guy. Look how bad he was. He's got a wanted sign that my guy has made for me to hold up.
International murder. These are people that are they're apprehended and either put in jails in their country from where they came, or the country.
I think it's important to remember that paranoia is a symptom of frontotemporal dementia.
Respect us, and so they actually put them there. In the old days, they didn't respect our country. Biden wouldn't do this because he let them all in. You know, if you didn't have open borders,
Biden deported more people in his 4 years than they have even in this first year. He just let them all in. He was also continuing the people in cages stuff that you put in place. But again, you know, this is the president that's so much better for all of his everything. I love the comments are turned off. It's awesome. I was watching some of this live because this was a few hours ago. I was watching some of this live. The chat was just only racism and only fucked up MAGA shit. It was so bad. Just insane that they are allowed to have that as their chat. This is the White House.
None of this, all of the things that we.
Oh, it was the Fox chat, I think, actually, I was watching.
And everything else. Most of them are coming from out of the country, and it's been caused by a previous administration. Look at this, one after one. boy, these are rough characters.
He's
These
just
are all
mumbling his way through this.
In many cases, they're murderers, they're drug lords, drug dealers. They're the mentally
He's so much
insane.
better than Biden at
Some of
this.
them who are brutal killers, they're mentally insane. They're killers, but they're insane.
They're killers, but they're insane.
These are just in Minnesota, California.
The late, great Jason Voorhees. He was Mexican, you know.
In other
Give
states.
Venezuela.
No, Minnesota, the crime is incredible. The financial crimes are incredible. And the problem is because of the
He's
agitators
only mentioning financial crimes too because of the quote unquote fraud that's happening. Even though the only confirmed case of childcare fraud that I have seen was a white woman who was a legal US citizen. But they're all saying it's Somalis or whatever. I think it was the same, yeah. No, it's fucking insane. The stuff that's happening in Minnesota is crazy.
insurrectionists, whatever you want, troublemakers, but they're paid agitators and
They're paid agitators.
No
They're
one-
paid agitators, just like Bald Guy. Did you see the video of the Bald Guy? What's happening in Minnesota? They're literally like rioting in the streets right now because ICE shot Renee Good in the face 3 fucking times. Yeah, literally everywhere is telling them to fuck off. Everybody hates them. They are getting harassed everywhere, but they're still just kidnapping people off the streets.
about the fact that $19 billion at a minimum is missing in Minnesota, given to a large...
Missing where? Like what do you mean by missing? According to what? It's just missing? Like you don't know where it is? You are just making that up. There is no way that you know that. Like how can you account for missing money? You're not balancing checkbooks. Yeah, other sanctuary cities too are probably going to be the next to come under fire. I'm hoping it stays out of LA, but LA was recently a target, so if there is stuff that happens in LA, and you'll know I'll be out there. Yeah, money that I do not currently have in my bank account. They did not pay me $19 billion.
by Somalians.
There he is, just saying it. He's just saying Somalians have taken the money. That's just
A
racism.
lot of very low IQ people, they don't do it. Other people work it out, and they get them money, and they go out and buy Mercedes-Benzes, and they come from here, they have no money. They never had money. They never had a life. They never had a government. They never had a country.
You're making this
There's
up.
basically no country. Somalia is not even a country. They don't have anything that resembles a country. And if it is a country, it's considered just about the worst in the world. They come here and they become rich, and they don't have
That's just racism. I think it's it might just be my audio. Let me turn it up a little bit. Thank you.
a job.
There you
I
go.
was told that Ilhan Omar is worth $30 million. She never had a job. She's a crooked congressman. So here is another one. And I have, oh, by the way, we just took out, these are all what ICE is doing. And it's a dangerous
That
job.
was crazy on the fucking that was crazy with the subtitles.
These are all what ICE is doing.
ISIS doing.
And it's a dangerous job. These are rough people. Weapons.
No, we this should disqualify us entirely. We are doing a fascism currently. Like this is I have let me see if I can pull it up. I think I shared it in here. Did it go? 10 of the 14 points? Jesus Christ. You can't say shit that's funny. They're gonna come for you in the night. Oh, there it is.
The lesson plan for today. So
How about... I'm just pulling this over for a sec, you know, for no reason.
we're just gonna watch a movie.
Yay!
All right! An educational movie from the 1940s.
Boo.
Don't Be a Sucker was made by the U.S. Army to warn Americans about what happened to Nazi Germany.
I'm just an average American. But I'm an American.
I've heard this kind of talk before, but I never expected to hear it in America.
Some of the things I see in this country of ours make my blood boil. I see people with foreign accents, making all the money, holding jobs that belong to me and you.
By the way, you know who's taking the jobs? 107% of those jobs are taken by illegal aliens.
Sorry, the TV must still be connected to my TiVo. No, let the magic TV keep going.
Now you know them. You know what they stand for. And it's up to you and me to fight them.
We got to take America's streets back for the American people.
I saw it first in Berlin in 1932. These men were all fellow Germans when they came here today. Now they were split into rival groups, suspicious of each other, hating each other. That's how Hans became a Superman. They gave him a uniform and they pumped up his ego.
According to DHS, more than 80,000 people have applied to ICE since they launched their hiring campaign a week ago.
All playing a sucker's game. They gambled with other people's liberty.
ICE agent broke down the door with a battering ram.
The Jews were not powerful, but they were a convenient excuse for all the nation's ills.
I'm literally a U.S. citizen.
They found that truth does not die easily. And so they decided to abolish truth.
This officer was hit by her vehicle. She weaponized it.
Education was discouraged.
Figure out what you need to do to get your kid out of the government school system.
The Trump administration is stepping up its push to break up the Department of Education.
You couldn't see this movie or listen to this music.
Bad Bunny is going to headline the halftime show. ICE will pursue immigration enforcement at the game.
Hundreds of Catholics were put in jail.
They were putting handcuffs on my arms, and they asked me, "Are you afraid now?" To which I replied, "No."
Here in America, it's not a question whether we tolerate minorities. America is minorities.
Wow, this film was woke. This film is from 1943.
We'll never be able to call this country our own until it's a country without Freemasons.
Hey, that fellow's talking about me. And that makes a difference, doesn't it?
Like I say, I was Trump supporter. I voted for Trump because I thought it was going to be the things, you know, like just go against criminals.
Oops. Looks like it switched to the DVD. No, this is fine. Yeah, I need a break.
I used to slap the bass.
Class, I don't have a lesson plan for today, so we're just gonna watch a movie.
Yay!
I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta let a little video play. Yeah. I don't know. Just saying.
It's very bad. I'm going through this because I think we have plenty of time. I'm going to beautiful place in Switzerland where we'll be. I'm sure I'm very happily awaited for.
I'm going to this place in Switzerland. This is the fucking press release. This is. Why are you talking about that? He doesn't tweet anymore. He truths. Yeah, he truths. Watch it.
In Switzerland, they don't know about this. They don't have this problem. They have other problems, but they don't have this problem. Look. Killed somebody.
Killed somebody.
And these are rough people. These are not... This was all allowed into our country through...
You don't... Again, it's just stoking the paranoia. It's stoking the flames of the reactionary mindset over and over again. It's saying they're coming for you. They're coming across the border. They're in your neighborhood. They're gonna take your white women and your jobs. And it doesn't mean anything. He's just mumbling through these things.
You know, men and women's sports is dumb. But to me, having an open border...
Transphobia! Random transphobia just thrown in there, catching fucking strays.
You know, men and women's sports is dumb. But to me, having an open border for the world to come in, drug dealers,
Oh.
prisoners. Venezuela, as an example, opened their prisons into the United States. That's why one of the reasons I felt so strongly against Venezuela. Now I'm loving Venezuela. They've been working with us so well. It's been so nice. And an unbelievably nice woman also did a very incredible thing, as you know, a few days ago.
What?
We're talking to her, and maybe we can get her involved.
We're talking to her, and maybe we could get her involved. This wonderful woman. Like, this is the president. This is the guy that people are like, oh, he's good, but he's fine. But this was too much. This guy, he couldn't do it. He was too sleepy. That's a great shot. That's an awesome side profile. Oh, I like that.
Be able to do that. Maria, maybe we can do that. But we're dealing with the people invented the president. And
The
all of
people invented the
Venezuela
president.
doing great. The oil companies are getting ready to make massive investments there. They have more oil than even Saudi Arabia. There you go.
Just stealing it, just saying it.
These are real. These are rough. This is all Minnesota, every one of them. This is one state out of many. And these people are, let's see, yeah, these are all, so far, people that came from outside of the country. They were allowed in by Sleepy Joe Biden, Crooked Joe Biden, whichever you like. You can call them whatever
Stop
you like.
fucking talking. Joe Biden has cancer, dude. Chill on Joe Biden, okay? He's not your enemy. He's not coming for you. He's not coming for your fucking job.
And he's crooked. He was the worst president we've ever had. And we've had some bad ones, too.
It's literally the, like, Lois Griffin going 9/11 and everybody cheers. He's like, Joe Biden and everybody... Soda!
You're not getting bored with this, right? I hope you don't. But these are people that you have to see. Strong-arm rape, aggravated assault with a weapon, and many other crimes.
Just saying it. He just really wanted to say rape.
Gang member, known as one of the toughest people around.
He looks like he's gonna fall the fuck asleep. He looks like he's ready. Somebody needs to take Grandpa to go take a fucking nap. Holy shit. He's like, his face is melting off his skull.
So this is what the people are trying to protect.
They just gave him a pile of papers and we're like, go hold these up. Do you think they did that? Or do you think he was like, yeah, make me a bunch of posters. I'm gonna hold them up.
Out of our country. Bring them to prisons and jails and mental institutions from where they came. That's all they want to do. They're patriots, and they have to be abused by guys like Don Lemon, who's a loser, lightweight. I saw him the way he walked in that church. It was terrible. I have such respect for that pastor. He was so calm. He was so nice. He was just accosted. What they did in that church was horrible yesterday. Look at it. 24 convictions. 24 times convicted. They're not charges. These are convictions. So he comes from outside the country. Do you think he's going to be good here? He's convicted 24 times. He's going to be good here, right? It doesn't work that way. He's a man murderer. One of many. One of
murder shoes, many.
Many. All they want to do is get him out.
No, he was really happy when he was talking about how much people wanted him to be in. He's like, oh, other people in Switzerland are just waiting so happily for me to get there. We got plenty of time. We've got plenty of time. It's okay. It's only when he's talking about himself, you know. 14 common features of fascism. Yeah, okay.
With paid agitators and insurrectionists, troublemakers. They're paid. You know, when the woman was shot, I felt terribly about that. And I understand both sides of it.
No, you don't.
When she was shot, There was
You
another
don't-
woman that was screaming shame, 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 right? You saw it. So loud. Like a professional opera singer. She was so loud and so professional. She wasn't a woman that was hurt, like, oh, my heart's injured. She was a professional. She's shame, shame. She's screaming shame, shame. I said, that's not a normal person. That's a professional. These are professional agitators and professional.
Shut the fuck up, dude. That was her wife. You're a fucking monster. That's fucking crazy.
Professional people that want to see our country do badly. But that's not happening because we have the hottest country anywhere in the world, despite this stuff. Look at this. All top of the line.
Oh my
criminals.
god.
They're not going to be good. They're not going to be well behaved.
He's just meandering his way through this pile of
I
papers.
could do thousands. We had over 3,000 in the last fairly short while. Just in Minnesota. What's the number, Carol? 10,000.
Yeah, 10,000 people you just fucking snatched off the streets, which you can't fucking do. You can't just kidnap people. That's fucked up. You can't do that. They're coming for you, and they're gonna eat your pets.
10,000 criminals. And these are serious criminals. Now, how can a place with 10,000 criminals, how can you have a state? And yet they're fighting us. Yeah, I like that guy. He keeps nodding to me. You agree with me, I guess. I like him. I don't know who he is, but I like him. He keeps nodding. He says, you're right. He's obviously a little on the right side, maybe. Look. These are rough ones.
Oh my fucking god. It's like... this feels like when the CEO of your company calls you in to a meeting, and it's a company-wide meeting, and everybody has to go, and it's just like something that could have been a fucking text message, and you're all there for an hour and a half watching Grandpa meander through something. Yeah, 10,000 criminals accusation, and they're just like literally snatching people off the streets. It's anybody, because it doesn't matter if you're a citizen or not now. They're just fucking grabbing you because it's the Gestapo, and you're resisting, and they can just disappear you because they are masked men with no accountability. And we have already proven that you do not have the right to the rule of law. You are no longer innocent until proven guilty. They can just steal you. Be right back. I need to get more napkins. And some water, actually. Ugh. This head cold is kicking my ass.
So we just took this off a stack. We have many stacks like this. Like, I could go 30 times what I'm showing you now.
This isn't showing us any information, Mr. President.
Relations with
You're
Hezbollah,
just
that's nice.
wandering your way through fucking wanted posters that you had your office make. This is not telling us information. This is just you being racist.
Hmm. I'm just looking at these charges. It's just pretty incredible. Many murderers.
And again, he's just gonna believe this all at face value. They're giving him these papers. He's not reading the information. He's not reading the court cases. He doesn't care. He's just gonna get this information and be like, oh, they're just these people in the snakes I have surrounded me with would have no reason to bite me. Like, incredible that he's just willing to take all of this at face value. I think maybe he is like truly too stupid to be lying about this stuff. I think he is like legitimately believes this because he's just a brain-rotted racist.
Many, many murders. People that murdered. So what ICE does, and Border Patrol is incredible.
Really fast.
I mean, Paul Perez and that group is incredible. Mostly Hispanic, by the way. They're like 60% Hispanic. You know, they talk about Hispanic. They're mostly Hispanic.
I think that this is an important thing too, is that like Hispanic is so many different kinds of people. It's not just one block of people. They are not a united front. They do not vote the same. They do not like work the same. They do not have the same communities. They're like, it's all of the different nations and subcultures that those people come from. Like, you're just lumping them all into brown people because it's easier to hate them that way. Whenever Republicans would say the Democrats are puppets, we always think of the phrase, every accusation is a confession. True. Yeah, Spanish Hispanic is way different from Latin American Hispanic, exactly. And, like, I imagine, like, each individual country, like Hondurans and El Salvadorians and, like, fucking Argentinians and Cubans and all of these other, and Mexicans, obviously, all of these other communities are all different groups of people. Venezuelans, for instance, if we've been wrapped up with them lately.
Hispanic, right? And they're unbelievable people. And then they say, oh, we discriminate against. I love Hispanic. They are unbelievable. Entrepreneurial. They have everything. I did great. I did the highest. Nobody ever got numbers like I got from the standpoint of being a Republican.
That actually is true. And that is fascinating. Looking into that recently, I believe it was the idea that like Hispanics are no longer voting, like the Hispanic block of voters, right, is no longer a solid block of voters. They are voting more along economic lines now rather than identity lines. Which, I mean, ultimately is probably a good thing that they are not recognized as one giant block of people, because like I said, all of these groups of people are different. But it's also the fact that these people are all like they're a lot of Hispanic culture a lot of Hispanic, like South American Hispanic cultures and then Spanish cultures in general tend to be very conservative leaning in this, because they are founded off of like principles of Catholic colonization.
But even if you look at Texas, I won the entire border along Texas, between Texas and Mexico. It never happened before. Nobody's ever done that before. I did it. As a Republican, I did it. I love the Hispanic. And they accuse
He's so concerned with like the things that he did, and like he will talk so much about the things that he did. He's so narcissistic about it. It's the same thing with like where he was demanding the Nobel Peace Prize.
All sorts of things.
He's just such a weird little loser.
They're the best people we have, and they're Hispanic. The Border Patrol is largely Hispanic. ICE is largely Hispanic. They're unbelievable.
I think that's fucked up too, is that ICE has a lot of Hispanic people in it. Those are people that are accepting the bribe to be part of the enforcer class. And you have to resist the call of that. Like, if you're a person from these communities, you need to stand with your community. Doing that is being a class traitor, because you are doing the enforcing for the enforcer class. I'm going to be right back real quick. I'm going to throw on some of these demo reels and some music, and I will be back in a second. I need to use the restroom. So... Alright, friends, I'm back. Hello. Sorry about that.
I don't know how they can take the abuse. They're taking rough people like this, like all of them. We have 10,000 at least. I could have done 10,000 of them. You're lucky I only did like 100. And this isn't even the worst of the group. They have murderers. They have some people we can't use their picture for legal reasons, but they're up for murder in their own country. And we jeopardize their case. When we send them back and we coordinate with other countries. A tremendous amount of work. All allowed in here by an open border policy of the worst president in the history of our country. A man that didn't win the election, by the way,
You cannot say that. In the year of our Lord 2026, you cannot say that. You are just lying. That is not correct. He did not.
And everybody knows that now.
No, we didn't.
And by the way, numbers are coming out that show it even more plainly.
No.
We caught him.
No, you didn't.
We caught him.
No, you didn't.
So I just want you to know that
it's not correct.
It's a terrible thing. Here's the book on accomplishment.
That doesn't prove anything to me other than that you had some posters.
And this is something. Ooh, I'm glad my finger wasn't in that sucker. That could have done some damage, but you know what? I wouldn't have shown the pain. I would have gone back. Boy, did you hear that? That was nasty. But I would not have shown the pain. I would have acted like nothing happened as my finger fell off. That was a nasty. I think somebody did that. I think it was him. It was my man. How were you? You didn't do it. I know you did.
Just fucking. What is this?
But here's the book. These are all things we have.
No, yeah, he accused Joe Biden of doing voter fraud, just openly. Alright, we need to mute those. Disable notification.
I'm going to read a few of the samples, but look at this. These are all, each line is something that we did. Nobody did that before. And it's big
Yeah,
stuff.
it's because people that feel the need to list out every accomplishment that they've done definitely are people that have accomplished a lot of things. Just saying.
Stuff too. Look, we have the hottest country in the world. So, I will read you a few. We ended Biden's stagflation. We were in stagflation. That's a disaster. That's far worse than inflation. As you know, he had the biggest inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years. Pick your choice. But they had the biggest inflation in the history of our country.
What do you mean, pick your choice? The biggest inflation that we ever did, the stagflation.
Created super high. What we've done with growth is incredible. We created super high economic growth, and America is booming. It's booming. There are thousands of businesses right now that are being built. Many of the biggest factories in the world are being built right in our country. They're not going to other countries. They're leaving other countries. Fourth quarter GDP is on track to pass perhaps much more than 5% growth, and that's despite the fact that we had a Democrat shutdown. They shut down our country. And we had 5%. Nobody's in this room has ever heard about 5%. I think it could be 20% if we do it right. If we don't, every time we have good numbers,
Sorry, I was just double checking. I don't think we were in stagflation. I don't think that I think we haven't been in stagflation since like the 70s. Two years ago, is a Reddit question in Ask Economics: is the United States in an economic state similar to the 1970s stagflation? Answer: not even close. Stagflation was a phenomenon of very high and persistent inflation and unemployment both. In the late 70s, inflation above 5% persisted years and was above 10% multiple years. Post-COVID unemployment rates sank back to levels that were the lowest we've ever seen, while inflation, after a spike to rates well lower than the worst we saw in the 70s, is well on its way down and is currently 3.4%. Yeah, I mean, not for nothing, but like, I think Biden's economic policies saved us from the mistakes that Trump's presidency made, especially during COVID. I don't really support Biden, but I'm just doing basic fact checking. But we were not in stagflation. That's just wrong. And I bet if you asked this dumbass to explain stagflation, he couldn't.
Old days, if you had good numbers, they'd lower interest rates, or they wouldn't do anything. Here, they try and kill it. They always try and kill success. Over the last 20, 25 years, that's the way. In the old days, if you had good numbers, the market would go through the roof. Today, if you...
When exactly was that? Give me a year. When was the good old days?
you have good numbers, the market goes down. But by the way, we've had the best stock market in history, the best 401ks in history.
I don't think so, Mr. Crazy.
And we inherited a mess. The numbers that we inherited were way up, and now we brought them, almost all of them, way down. We brought them way down. I mean, I'm not getting... maybe I have the bad public relations people.
Yes.
But we're not getting it across. We inherited high numbers and we brought them way down.
No, you didn't.
And look at gasoline. They have places in the country now, $1.99 a gallon. $1.99, $2.30, $2.50. I guess the average now they're saying is $2.31. I mean, he was at $4.50 and $5 for periods of time. And he went back to the Trump formula, but he didn't do it properly, and he really went back to parts of it because you would have had $8 gasoline if they didn't, but he didn't do it properly. He had people that didn't know what they were doing. Core inflation for the last 3 months is 1.6%. 1.6. Their core inflation
Who's president in 2022?
so high that nobody could even calculate it. Under Biden, real
No, it was still
incomes
Biden.
declined
But this was right after COVID.
$3,000. Think of that. $3,000. That's a year.
So
In 12 months, Trump real incomes went up by $2,000.
this was supply chain shit, probably.
In some cases, $5,000.
But still, even after that,
the stock market has set 52 all-time record highs during the course of
I don't know, worth saying.
Actually the 11 months, because this was done on 11 months. Now we are actually officially 12
chicken.
months as of today.
Oh, that's weird.
52 all-time record highs.
That's
that means
weird.
401ks.
How'd that happen?
I have people see me all the time, policemen that
That's weird. And this
guard
is
us really well. And
Bureau of Labor
got
Statistics.
to know them a little bit. They said, "Sir, you're making
Duck
me look so
Gov.
good. My 401ks through the roof. My wife thinks I'm the greatest genius. That I'm a financial genius like Warren Buffett." He told me that. He said, I think they have better returns than Warren Buffett right now. But he said, all my life, my wife has been criticizing me for not being smart financially. Now, all of a sudden, she loves me more. But we added $9 trillion in value to retirement accounts, saving
milk even.
many people. I mean, they were going out of business. Think of it. We added $9 trillion of value
Electricity?
to retirement accounts, savings accounts, and 401ks.
Ooh, that doesn't look
That's during the
good.
course of 12 months. And I think it's probably 11 months because I don't think they have it for the 12. They have it for the 11. Added $9 trillion of value.
That's weird.
Lifted more than 1.2 million Americans off food stamps
piped
in 1
gas?
year. They would have had another 1.2 million. We would have had, welfare would have gone up. And instead of investing $18 trillion in our country, now it's probably more than that. But
Just saying.
$18 trillion and having thousands of plants being built all over the country, you would have had thousands of plants closing all over the country. And you would have had disinvestment. And you would have had welfare going way up. You know, if you look at SNAP, take a look at SNAP, what happened with that? Was it $7 billion? And
SNAP is a supplementary. This is another thing too. People are like, "Oh, SNAP benefits are like are like bad. Even though SNAP is meant to be supplementary, like 75% of the people that are on SNAP are working full time. It's meant to be income that helps you pay for groceries when your job isn't paying you enough to afford them.
It came out to over $51 billion. Nobody has ever seen anything like it.
I literally don't think that you could explain the concept of that to someone like Donald Trump. I don't think he's possible, like, I don't think it's possible for him to understand it. Like, the scale of it is just something that he won't be able to comprehend. Because he has never wanted for anything in his entire pathetic loser life. He has failed upward. He has squandered every fucking opportunity he's ever gotten, and he is still here because he was able to buy his way here. Just saying.
Administration.
He's the most useful idiot.
Or they were really bad, but they basically had no clue. But they did have a concept. I mean,
Yeah.
they're still trying to sell the idea of men playing in women's sports. You saw that in the Supreme Court.
Bro, just throwing strays at trans people here. And they're not trying to sell the idea of men playing in women's sports in the Supreme Court. We talked about this last time, but both of the Supreme Court cases are actually dealing with trans women who never experienced the testosteronization from male puberty. They never got any of the testosterone-related advantages that are supposedly granted, well, not supposedly, but are granted by testosterone. Like, none of those physical advantages were given to them by a male puberty. Both of them were on pubertal suppressants and then on HRT for their entire life, and they have not undergone a testosterone-induced puberty.
I mean, some of those justices were fighting for him, too. They were fighting for him. But you saw that just the other day in the Supreme Court. Men playing in women's sport doesn't work. Secured a record-breaking $18 trillion in commitments for new investments. Apple, NVIDIA, SoftBank, Oracle, TSMC, Johnson & Johnson, Eli Lilly and Company, Micron, AstraZeneca, General Motors, Hyundai, Ford, Honda, GE Aerospace, many, many others. I left a Ford plant a week ago in Michigan that they were going to close 2 years ago, and now they just announced that they're going 24 hours around the clock making cars.
I think that's bad.
I don't know what the Supreme Court's going to do. I think to me it reads so plainly. Couldn't be plainer.
You're just back to that? You're back to the...
Do a license. Tariff is probably less severe than what a license could be. But think of it. You're allowed to do a license, and then they have a clause at the end, something to the effect, or what is necessary, something to that effect. And what is necessary with tariffs. I don't know where there's a case even there, but we've taken in...
What are you fucking saying? Spit it the fuck out, you old piece of shit! Oh my god! What are you talking about? None of those words made any fucking sense. You spent 30 minutes just waving papers around and saying nonsense. This is the President of the United States!
If we lose that case, it's possible we're going to have to do the best we can in paying it back. I don't know how that's going to be done very easily without hurting a lot of people. But we're waiting for that case anxiously, and we have tremendous national security because of tariffs and tremendous income. You know, we have, and by the way, no inflation.
Okay.
So everyone said, oh, tariffs will cause inflation. We have no inflation. We have very little inflation. Biden had inflation, and he didn't do tariffs. We had a huge problem. We have a 62% reduction in our trade deficit. So if you had a 1% reduction, a normal president would have a 1%, 2% reduction. Everybody would be high-fiving. Had a 62% reduction. Next year, we won't have a trade deficit. We secured most favored nations agreements to slash drug prices by as much. To me, I think this might be the biggest thing of all. We get zero talk about it. The New York Times had a story way in the back of the paper, a little story about it. I think it's the
About
biggest
what?
thing there is. When you
Talk about it.
Drug prices will go down more than ever before for any country, because we were.
Hmm. Hmm. How are tariffs going to make the prices go down? Tariffs are taxes that you, the consumer, pay when purchasing imported products. There is literally no way tariffing drugs will make them go down in price. That is fundamentally not how that works. And to say otherwise is dishonest and stupid. These are the people that our parents vote for. You can just say anything. You can just say, they have proven that you can just say stuff and you don't even need it to be the truth or even a little bit true, because people will just buy it. Hook, line, and sinker, and they will swallow all of the fishing line. Most people who voted for him don't know how tariffs work still. That's incredible. Incredible.
Price at such a level that we were subsidizing the entire world, big place in the world. We were paying 10, 12, 13 times more than other countries. 13 times more, not 13%, 13 times.
And why is that? Hmm. Hmm. Wow. Hmm. Hmm. What? What the fuck? What is this? Yeah, it's not as straightforward, but the answer is because we don't have good health care. Like, we don't have good health insurance. We don't have the companies are allowed to charge whatever they want for their drugs because they're assuming that you have health care, private health insurance. Yeah. Sorry.
More. A pill that was selling in London for $10 would sell in New York for $130. It's 13 times.
So we should have better health insurance. So we should have better health insurance so people can afford them. Or you should negotiate and put. Don't put. You can't. Putting tariffs on them is not limiting the price of them. It is not taxing other people. It is taxing the consumer. Oh my god, I'm gonna make myself die. Oh.
Nations agreements to
I'm giving myself a
slash drug
headache.
prices by as much as 300, 400, 500, and even 600%, including with Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Eli Lilly, Nova Nordisk, Gilead Sciences, EMD, Serenio, and many others. If you look at some of the prices that are coming down, where a price would come down $1,300 coming down to 80. $7. Think of it. So something.
Sorry, I was muted. I was saying I don't think he knows anything. He's just regurgitating the lies. I don't think he knows what's going on. I truly don't think he wants to be in control of anything. I think he is tired and lazy and just wants to be, like, hand-fanned and fed grapes. But there is so much of this that he is just rambling through. Grandpa needs a fucking nap. I'm exhausted already, and there is like another hour and a half of this.
It's now costing $87.
Oh my god, this is just
And the
today.
fake news doesn't want to write about it. That's why I do this. I don't like to do this, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
I do it because got to get the word out. We signed one big, beautiful bill. I call it the Great Big Beautiful Bill, delivering the largest tax cuts in history. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime.
No.
We made interest on car loans.
None of those things are what happened. It is not. I just like to believe that the Big Beautiful Bill, which is such a fucking stupid name, but to believe that that is good for the average American person is just such a lie. And again, he's just saying lies. He's just lying. And it doesn't even need to be good lies. They don't need to put any effort into it. They can just say it and they will believe it because that is the reality that they have constructed. The MAGA crowd, people that have voted for Trump 3 times, right? People that have been on Trump's side for the last almost a decade, actually a decade now, because it would be 2016. People that have been rooting for Trump for a decade are now so deep into this cult that they have constructed blinders. And reality is on the outside of the blinders, right? All of the things that are actually happening, like Renee Good getting shot in the face 3 times by an ICE agent, like the Gestapo abducting American citizens off of the streets, like this old idiot man rumbling and rambling his way through all of his speeches and fucking tweeting threats to other countries like a mad emperor. all of these things, if you look at them and you understand them as reality, you have to start then deconstructing the blinders. And if a crack forms in those, you realize that you have been buying a scam for 10 years, and you have been repping it for 10 years, and you have to, like, perform that cognitive dissonance with yourself. You would have to face the fact that maybe you did something wrong, or that you were wrong, or you made a wrong decision, and they cannot do that. It is something that you need to practice doing, to, like, admit that you're wrong when things happen, when you make mistakes, when bad shit happens to you. Sometimes it's your fault. I have a lot of fucking practice admitting that I'm wrong. I have done a lot of things wrong in my life. Still make mistakes and get things wrong, and I try to excuse me, I try to make an effort where it isn't so much effort that it is painful to do well by the mistakes that I have made. You know, where it's appropriate. But, like, you would have to deconstruct so much. So many folks feel their identity is attacked through admitting they're wrong, that they would be bad for being wrong, and so they fight back so hard. Yeah, it makes them really defensive. Especially for shit like this, because you would have to reckon with the fact that you have co-signed. I think, like, truly, eventually, like, fascism will never win, ultimately, right? It's gonna be bad, it's gonna get really bad, but fascists have never successfully had a win, ever. All of the fascist movements fail, eventually. Because it just eats itself alive. But the people that were supporters, the people that bought into it and were part of the enforcer class, have a lot of, like, internal work to do, I think, still. There's going to be a lot of apologizing that needs to happen. Sorry, there's a fly on my table. Yeah, they consume themselves, absolutely.
Deductible for U.S.-built automobiles only.
Oh,
Interest
give me that, give me that.
Car loans, tax deductible for
Tax
US-built
deductible.
automobiles only. So if you buy an automobile built in the United States, we're not doing it for Germany.
He is slurring his words. He is sundowning, dude.
Built here. We want them to be built here. A lot of the Canadian auto plants are closing and they're moving into the United States. Same thing with Mexico.
The
same
United
thing with Germany,
States.
Same thing with Japan and other countries. They're moving into the United States because of tariffs. Because they don't want to pay the tariffs. It's too much. They can't pay the tariffs.
I saw Riley Gaines, I think, in the Supreme Court appearance that she made. She looks coked out of her mind. She always does, though. I feel like her and Erica Kirk started to, like... Show me him in the Supreme Court. Look at her fucking eyes. Truthfully, I pissed off. They always look like that.
So they're coming here. Nothing different than what other smart countries did, but it works better for us. Under my leadership, it's not done properly, but it's done properly.
What you have been doing,
more,
Mr. Trump, I would not call leadership exactly.
More plants being built than at any time in the history of our country. Passed the largest spending cuts in American history, and that was true in my first, we had a tremendous first term also. We rebuilt our military. We had one of the best. We had the best economy in the history of our country.
That is not true.
But we're blowing it away now. When this stuff starts opening up, you're not going to see anything like it probably ever again. We slashed the federal budget deficit by 27% in a single year. Think of that, 27. You could do it 2%, 1%, 0.5%, 27%. And that's with all of the things we have to do, all of the
What is a
people we have to
budget
put on
deficit
the payroll
exactly?
to get rid of people that are murderers. Again, when you
And
see
how
people
exactly is it?
in Minnesota,
How exactly is it saving the United States money to put $12 trillion into ICE or $12 billion into ICE or whatever it was? How is that saving me money? Daily reminder to not fucking pay your taxes for as long as fascists are in control.
that are murderers, these people are fighting to keep them there. And I say to Christie and to Tom Homan, the great people, they're working so hard. Look at the border. The border is now secure. First time, you know, Biden said you couldn't do it. You need legislation. I had no legislation. I said close the border. Within 1 month, we had almost nobody coming in. Now for the last 8 months, nobody came into our country illegally. And I find that hard to believe because you'd think somebody, because it used to be millions of people just poured into our country. And the people that do that are Democrat sort of aligned. So, I mean, they're not doing me any favors. We had nobody come in. We have a very strong border. We have very few people coming up. They're not going to make the trek because they know they probably won't be coming in. So it's not as hard as you think. But I didn't have to go back. Remember, they said, we need legislation to close the border. They had millions of people coming in a month. We have nobody coming in, and we're getting the murderers out. Murderers.
I don't believe
people
you.
From prisons and jails.
That's not correct.
Many countries opened up their prisons.
You are
and
not
dropped them into
getting
the
0
United States.
people
So the
in.
people are getting out. And we have a lot of heart. They said, you got to lighten up on this. We have a lot of heart for people. They came in illegally, but they're good people, and they're working now on farms, and they're working in luncheonettes and hotels and all. And we're not looking. We're looking to get the criminals out right now.
No, you're not. You're just
Criminals.
doing anybody.
And,
That has been very
I
clear.
think it's very important. I mean, every once in a while you
Was
see
Renee
stories
Good a
like somebody-
criminal?
He should be out because they can't.
They'd say
handle it.
yes,
So
of course,
theory,
because they're
they should be
fucking
more
monsters.
focused on the murderers, the drug dealers, the mentally insane. We have a lot of mentally
The housewives
insane killers.
from Middle America, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed white people. Those are the people. Again, there is something I want to talk about. Like in response to this whole thing, like the Renee Good situation, the reason that they're saying all this shit about her is because she stood up for non-whites. So she lost her safety from her proximity to whiteness. Like that is the reason that they are saying all this. We saw it happen with Marjorie Taylor Greene a little while ago too. As soon as they dare to step out of their place, they're eaten alive. As soon as a woman dares to step out of line, they're eaten alive by their own supporters previously. It's ridiculous. Just the way that they treat their own. Because that's what fascism is. It's a death cult. It is endlessly eating itself. All right, I'll be right back again. Sorry, friends. Oh, God. Oh, don't get head colds. They fucking suck. It really is just like a headache and a runny nose. Mild respiratory issues. I gotta take a COVID test tomorrow. I took a COVID shot. Right, so I'm probably fine, but I want to take a COVID test tomorrow just to make sure I didn't get anything. We masked up the whole time we were there, made sure to get the COVID and flu shots and everything. Alright. More of this insufferable man.
You can't even talk to them. It'd be nice if you could have a little reason, but you can't even reason. These are seriously ill people. You have a couple of countries where they were loaded up.
It's
Their
just
mental
making it.
institutions and insane
It's just
asylums
making
were
shit
loaded to
up.
the gills. They couldn't get. They're empty now. But they're filling up because we're
That's
bringing them
not
all back.
real.
We know where they came from, and every country accepts them. You know, under Biden, they wouldn't say. They had so little respect.
Could just be
that they'd
January
bring 'em
sinus
there.
crud. That's not
They wouldn't
impossible.
take 'em. They say, "Get the hell out of here." They would be bringing a plane in to land in a country, and they'd put 5 planes on the runway so you couldn't land the plane. So they'd come back.
Oh god, maybe I should get like a saline rinse and just totally rinse out my sinuses. It feels super weird, but sometimes it's like a really good like way to just clear yourself out, and then you're cured. Neti pot is good. Yeah, I've seen that.
With the people that they were bringing back. They don't do that with me. They do that with me. They have problems.
Yeah,
They
yeah. Distilled water or boiled water. Or the saline. Yeah, you don't want brain parasites. Very true.
They accept them back. They're not happy about it, but they accept them back. Cut a record number of regulations. I promised to eliminate 10 old regulations for every one new regulation. Instead, we cut 129 old regulations for.
Speaking of brain parasites, I also pulled up RFK Jr.'s press conference from a couple weeks ago. I think we're gonna have to save this for another one though, because I think this is all I'm gonna be able to do. I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about, but this is like I didn't think this was gonna take it out of me so much. I'm already a little tired though, and like we have not been through this yet.
Each one added. Think of that. I wanted to do 10. In my first 4 years, I did. When we put on a new regulation, you had to cut 8. This year, I said you have to cut 10. Instead, we cut 129. So every time, so far, can't remain like that, I don't imagine. I hope I can, because we have so much wasted regulation, stupid regulations. Regulations where they go by California, which is a disaster state, with a governor that truly is doing a bad job. He's killing that state. If he ever ran the country, this country would be Venezuela.
As somebody who lives in California currently, it does not seem so bad. It's pretty cool here, actually.
Using tariffs slashed the U.S. trade deficit by an incredible 77%. The trade deficit is down, and that doesn't include the last month where we had our best month. We slashed the trade deficit by an incredible 77% in 1 year with no inflation, something that everyone said could not be done. So we had essentially no inflation. In fact, the last month we had almost no inflation. But we slashed the trade deficit by 77%. If you slashed it by 1%, that was good. Again, we did that with tariffs and intelligence.
I feel like
we did that with November 5th.
I gotta be totally honest with you. I don't think trade is supposed to be entirely equal. Like, I think deficits are important for international relations. Yeah. And so, that's not like a good thing.
We secured historic trade deals to reduce barriers on U.S. exports with countries covering 40% of all U.S. trade. Think of that. American exports are up by more than $150 billion this year. People said, oh, we're not exporting, all we do is buy. If you keep buying, you're not going to have a country for very long. So we increased exports by more than 150 billion.
Nobody wants to trade with us. The only thing that we're selling is like military stuff, right? I'm pretty sure we lost tons of trade with China, especially like in like agriculture. I know like soy and rice, like China was one of our biggest purchasers, and they've moved to I think they were doing deals with Argentina. I don't remember exactly, but like I think we lost fuck tons of business actually. And again, yeah, we're selling weapons and stuff, but that's not necessarily a good thing.
$1 billion. Investment in American factories is up 41%. That's a record. Nobody goes 41% up. You go 2% up, 1% up. You go down by 3%.
That's like, show me the evidence of that. You're making this shit up.
If Kamala
But people will just swallow it.
41% up would be 41%.
It doesn't
down.
matter what Kamala, whatever. The fucking election is over. You won a year ago. Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. He's so annoying.
Bureaucrats from the federal payroll. That's another thing.
He's such a mean gay.
You know, we announce our unemployment numbers. Call it unemployment or employment.
He talks like a fucking drag queen. Like he does. He talks like he's like an insult-based comic. You're like throwing insults at people. That's not how you're supposed to conduct yourself.
They were very good, but we could make them great. But we've slashed tremendous numbers of people off the federal payroll. Because ultimately, if you're on the federal payroll, I mean, we have jobs where they had 10 people for every job.
That doesn't make any sense.
If you want to see some good numbers, I'll put...
That does not make any sense. What do you mean you had jobs where they had 10 people to a job? What does that mean?
Oh, it's the liberals changing a light bulb.
Oh yeah, it takes 10 liberal. How many liberals does it take to screw in a log bulb? None. They're too busy. Their gender.
I'll hire 1 million people. We cut millions of people off the federal payroll. I don't like doing that, but the good news, I don't feel badly because they're getting private sector jobs, and they're getting sometimes
No, they're not.
money, 3 times as much money.
No, they're not. The job market is shit right now. No one can get jobs doing anything. Everybody is struggling. The fucking struggle is real. Dude is a out-of-touch moron.
Much higher pay. But all I have to do is say, like, you know, what the Democrats do.
Isn't he supposed to be giving a speech? Is this not supposed to be an address? Did they give him anything to say that's like formalized, or did they just say, here's a binder and a bunch of papers, go ramble for an hour?
All the time. They hire 1 million people, and then they hire another million, another million. They load it up, and it says, oh, they only have a 3% unemployment rate. It's a fake rate. So with us, we're proud of the fact that we cut so many because, again, I don't want to cut people. But when you cut them and they go out and get a better job, I like to cut them. And sometimes they have to be forced to do that because, you know, it's like they want to...
No, bitch, they chose to take... A lot of the time, somebody that's taking a government position understands that they're taking a pay cut in order to take the security of that position and the stability of that position and the ability to actually do something that matters to them in the government. To, like, help their fellow man.
Stay where they are, they don't know, and then all of a sudden they end up... We have many cases, Caroline, where people were devastated. They hated Trump. I got caught from my very boring federal job where they had, again, sometimes 10 people to do one job.
Remember that they want bureaucrats to be in trauma. The guy that wrote Project 2025 is on this guy's staff.
3 times more money. They're ending up buying houses. It's like crazy. So they went from not liking me to liking me a lot because it's hard to get. We need people. We need people. It's one of the reasons. I mean, when you have good people on the farm or good people in hotels and everything else, we want to work with them as much as we can.
No, you do not.
Under Biden, 1 out of 4
Shut
jobs
up about
added was a
Biden!
government job. Think of that. So 25% of the jobs added. That's when
He's not president, dude. You are. Stop whining about Biden. You won, dude. He's not running again. He's too old.
That's 25% of jobs aren't real jobs. But again, I could do that. I could add 2 million jobs right now. Would have.
And let's be totally honest. When Trump is done with his 4 years, he's going to be older than Joe Biden was at the end of his terms. He was inaugurated older than Joe Biden was in his term. For the second term. So if anybody's old, if anybody's fucking decrepit and dementia-ridden, it's this dude who's got the fucking dementia lean going on. Have you seen that? The fucking Trump lean? Look at this. Look at this motherfucker. Dementia.
I could say just hire some more people. I do the opposite. I say get rid of everybody that's unnecessary because that's the way you make America great again. When you have
The way to make America great again is to get rid of all of the unnecessary people. The way that you make America great again is you get rid of all of the people that are unnecessary. Just saying.
you know, all these jobs where people are sitting around doing nothing and they get a lot of money by the government, it's no good. But that's what the Democrats do. They show, oh, we were at 4% unemployment. That's a good number. But they just add jobs, or they wouldn't cut. They would never cut jobs. Under Trump, 100% of all new jobs created have been in the private sector. Think of that. Not 1% has gone to federal. So under Biden,
that's not even a statistic. That just means you created no jobs. That means you created no jobs. Sorry, no, you probably actually did create a bunch of jobs. In ICE. In the fucking secret police. Which is worse. So it's not even right. That's a lie.
Under Trump, 100% of the new jobs created, 100% came from the private sector. That's how you make your country wealthy and strong and good. We inherited the worst border in history and turned it into the strongest border in history. Illegal crossings have plummeted to the lowest level ever recorded, down 99.999%. That means down 100%. 99.999.
No, it doesn't.
I want to find out who that one person is.
No, it doesn't. 99.999% does not mean 100%. That's not correct.
For 8 months in a row, zero, and these are government numbers, these are not my numbers. For 8 months in a row, 0 illegal aliens were admitted to our country. 0. Nobody came in.
Okay.
Unless
0 illegal aliens were admitted to your country because they would not be admitted because they're illegal. So actually, zero illegal aliens have ever been allowed in the country or admitted to the country.
they came in illegally, we have a big
Oh, he really likes saying the word 9? Like 9999.
for having people come in legally, by the way. A lot of people are coming in legally. They have to prove they love our country. They have to prove that they're not going to need welfare. A lot of things they have to prove. For the first time in 50 years, we are now seeing reverse migration, where because we're getting all of these illegal people out. People that came in illegally, in many cases, they're criminals in many, many cases.
That's so anti-American too, because weren't we supposed to be proud of the great American melting pot, which is a myth, right? Right, it's colonialism to say that. It's you know, removing people of their cultures, you know, stripping their culture away and homogenizing them into American culture. Right? It's all colonialism. But weren't we supposed to be proud of that? Weren't we supposed to be proud of the fact that we were made up of minorities, that we were made up of people from all around the world? I thought that was an American point of pride, that there was no, like, American person. The average American is anybody.
Remember when they used to say that the people that come into our country as immigrants are very nice people, they're wonderful people, they don't commit crime. No, they make our criminals look like babies. They make our Hell's Angels look like the sweetest people on earth. The Hell's Angels are now considered a nice, high-quality person.
What? What are you talking about?
Angels, they voted for me.
What?
They protected me, actually, believe it or not.
That was...
But they make our criminals look like babies. These are some of the most vicious people anywhere in the world. They came from...
That whole sentence went so many places, and none of them were sensible or good. They make our criminals look like babies, and it makes me have a boner because I'm a weirdo.
Congo. The prisons, I know the Congo because I ended the war with the Congo and Rwanda. Tough group. Very tough group.
I don't remember that happening.
Some of the toughest, meanest people you'll ever meet. Thank you very much. They allowed him to come into America.
Thank you very... What?
These are tough people. Before my election, 100% of net job creation was going to foreign migrants. Since my inauguration, 100% of the net jobs created have gone to American-born citizens. That's a big thing. In
You
other words,
can't
we're now
prove
taking
that.
care of our people.
That's not possible to
100% of
prove.
net jobs created have gone to the American-born people. Before that, we didn't care. Designated
Yeah, I bet you didn't care.
Tren de Aragua, MS-13, and the Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and we've hit them hard. You've seen...
That's not what
we've
they
done on the
are.
water. We're starting to do that on land. The land
ICE is
much
domestic
easier.
terrorists.
Water is incredible. We did that on the water so that when you do it on the land, they don't go to the water. Nobody's going into the boat business right now, I can tell you. 97%.
Nobody's going into the boat business now.
Down
Shut.
drugs coming in by water. Think of 97%. Nobody ever heard of that before. They heard 2%, 1%.
Again, that doesn't mean anything. You're just saying it.
And we're looking for the 3%. Who the hell are the 3%? They're crazy. But we've taken out almost 100% of the drugs coming in by water. Now we're going to be very shortly starting drugs coming in by land. We know exactly where they're coming from. Remove tens of thousands of illegal alien gang members, drug dealers, murderers, child predators, human traffickers, fraudsters, savage criminals, and others. We removed them.
So all of your crimes? All of your crimes.
Country. They're out. They're gone. In some cases, they're so dangerous that we put them in jail because we don't want to give them to their country. Their country doesn't do anything, and they end up coming back. We have some that they're so bad that we don't want to really release them. We want to put them in a
He's
jail.
just
where
saying whatever.
They're properly ensconced. Think of that. Remove tens of thousands of illegal alien gang members, drug dealers, murderers, child predators, human traffickers, fraudsters, and savage criminals. Why wouldn't you want them removed?
He sounds like a
The
fucking
reason is
idiot.
because these are insurrectionists that are doing this work. And, you know, they're going to make mistakes sometimes. ICE is going to be too rough with somebody, or, you know, they're dealing with rough people. They're going to make a mistake sometimes. It can happen. We feel terribly. I felt horribly when I was told that the young woman who was had the tragedy. It's a tragedy. It's a horrible thing. Everybody would say, ICE would say the same thing. But
No, they
I
wouldn't.
learned
They'd call her a fucking bitch after they unloaded 3 rounds point blank into her fucking face, you monster!
her parents and her father in particular was I hope he still is, but I don't know, was a tremendous Trump fan. He was all for Trump, loved Trump. And, it's terrible. I was told that by a lot of people. They said, oh, he loves you. He was I hope he still feels that.
Yeah, just ignoring that she had a wife entirely, because, You know people are saying that she was a lesbian and so she deserved it.
Hard situation. But her father was a tremendous, and parents were tremendous Trump fans. It's so sad. It just happens. It's terrible.
It just happens.
Halted all.
There's nothing we could do. It just happens. Sometimes you gotta crack a few eggs. Sometimes you gotta shoot a few bitches in the face. It just happens. It's an unavoidable tragedy.
Refugee admissions to the United States, including from Somalia, which is a terrible, terrible place, another dangerous place. And we also stopped the pirates because they get the same treatment as the drug boats.
Stopped the pirates.
So in Somalia, the Somalians, you know what they're good at? That's about the only thing they're good at is...
That's just racism. That's just being racist.
They're good at pirating ships at sea, big ships. So you have a huge oil tanker with...
No, bro, that's the only thing you know about Somalians because you're racist.
Millions of gallons, millions of barrels of oil. And if it gets hit by a big weapon, the whole thing blows up. And they don't want to fight because if they do, they're told by their insurance companies, do not hand over the ship. And they're not allowed to have any guns on the ship. They're literally, you have these massive ships being taken over by a Somalian small boat with a big weapon. Because if they hit the side of the ship can blow up. You talk about a blow up. Bad. We've seen some bad things happen.
The whole thing can blow up. You talk about a blow up. Bad things. We've seen some bad things happen.
And the insurance companies, some of these ships cost more than $1 billion to build. And the insurance companies say, look, we'd rather give them money than take a chance on $1 billion insurance policy. But they don't have to worry about it because we hit them the same way we hit the people with the drugs in their boat.
That's bad. That's bad.
What happened. But all of a sudden, there are no pirates at sea. Do you notice? We haven't had a boat taken in a little while. Came out of Somalia, really corrupt place. It's not a country. They don't have government. They don't have anything.
That's fucked up to say.
I always hate to see this. Ilhan Omar, she comes from Somalia, a backward country, probably the worst country. They say it's the worst country in the world, if it's a country. I don't even think it's a country. There's no organization, no anything.
Disgusting.
They don't have police. They don't have military. They don't have anything. They just have people running around, killing each other, and trying to pirate ships.
That's so fucking racist.
She'll come here, comes, and then she wants to tell us how to run our country. The Constitution says that I am entitled to this. I can't stand her. Terminated all taxpayer-funded benefits for illegal aliens and kicked
That's fucking insane.
275,000 illegals off of Social Security. They were illegally getting Social Security. 275,000.
Bro! People that don't have a Social Security number because they're here illegally could not possibly get Social Security income. And even if they could, even if they could, they would deserve it because they pay into it. Illegal immigrants, undocumented migrants, pay so much into Social Security every year through income taxes. Because even undocumented people can get an identification number from the government that they can be used to give them income tax. Or to have them pay income taxes. But he doesn't know this. He doesn't know these things. He doesn't know anything. It's incredible to think that I almost certainly know more about American policy and immigration policy than the president of our country.
People. I'm telling you, it's not that this is pleasurable, but if I weren't elected president, this country was going to be destroyed quickly, very quickly. I think within a year, if you had Kamala or a Joe type.
Again,
I mean, Joe was a
just
disaster.
paranoia,
If
just
you had
paranoia,
Kamala,
stoking those flames, stoking that
I was up by like
paranoia.
25 points on Joe, and they said, "Hey, let's get somebody else." This never happened. Well, I had so many.
We
firsts.
always have to be
You're
under
leading
attack. It's the
somebody by a lot.
reactionary ideal.
And they say, "Oh, let's take him out. Let's put somebody." That's like I said to Dana White the other night. I said, "You know, Dana, it's like you have a fighter, two fighters. One guy is winning by a lot, and they say, "Oh, let's take this guy out. Let's put a new fighter in the ring with him." That's what happened to me. I was doing great with Biden. The whole campaign was against Biden. All the money was spent against Biden, and all of a sudden I got Kamala. Everyone said, "Who the hell is she?" But that didn't work out too well for them. But never happened.
You won a year ago. Shut the fuck up, you weird narcissist. It does not matter. We are supposed to be getting addressed by the president about, like, I thought this was going to be about Greenland. Like, he's not saying anything. He's just repeating his fucking talking points.
About lots of firsts. Designated English as the official language of the United States of America. We did that very powerfully.
What? That doesn't matter. That's a nothing burger.
The Gulf of Mexico, and now it's
Double nothing
the
burger.
Gulf of America. Because we have 92% of the shoreline. It always bothered me. I'd say, you know, we have most of the shoreline. Mexico has a small percentage, talks about 8%. We have 92%. And I said, why is it the Gulf of Mexico? It should be the Gulf of America. I was going to call it the Gulf of Trump, but I thought that I would be killed if I did that. I wanted to do it. I wanted to. My people worked so hard. Sir, I don't think it'll look too good. I'm telling you, it's a good thing. And
That's
it'll be hotter than
fucking
ever.
ridiculous.
No, but I decided not to do that. I'm joking, you know, when I say that. I was not going to call it the Gulf of Trump.
No, you were fucking not joking. You were absolutely not joking. You wanted it to be called that, and that's fucking ridiculous. You're a clown. You're an idiot clown. That's fucking hilarious.
Wanted to call it the Gulf of Trump, but he was rebuffed by his people. My people don't rebuff me too much.
Oh, that's bad. They should rebuff you more, but
Maybe we could do
you've
that.
surrounded
It's not
yourself
too
with
late.
yes men and
So we have the Gulf
sycophants.
of America now. It's great. It's our country is proud for the attack on Venezuela, the attack.
It's
on,
like I said, this guy has failed upward at every opportunity in his life. He has squandered every opportunity that has been given to him by luxurious wealth all the way through his life. And yet he was still rich enough to buy his way into power here. And it's ridiculous. He's the most useful idiot that all of these, like, real powerful foreign dictators love to see in power. A completely useless little fucking wet condom of a man.
the Iran nuclear capability, wiped it out. I mean, first administration, Soleimani, the father of the roadside bomb, al-Baghdadi, the father of ISIS, who was rebuilding ISIS. We wiped them out.
Just making
Done a
shit
great
up.
job.
Just making shit up.
Signed an order that will end birthright citizenship for children of illegal migrants. You know, that case is in court right now. That case was meant for the children of slaves. All you have to do is look at the years. Look at the years where the cases were filed and where the decisions were made. They were right at the end of the Civil War. They're trying to say that, you know, China's making a big business out of that. They come to the country, they have a child, they're American citizen, they get all the benefits. It had nothing to do with that. That was for the children
We're
of
literally
slaves.
this close to greatness.
And I hope the Supreme Court so rules. designated fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. It is. We lost, I believe, 300,000 people this year. 300,000 people.
Sorry, was that real? They reclassified it as a
designated fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. It is. We lost, I believe,
The concept of fentanyl is a weapon of mass destruction. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. And they have been challenging that. The bar is in hell. That's incredible.
300,000 people this year. 300,000 people. That's like filling up one of those big football stadiums.
I missed this one somehow.
5 times. It's not even believable.
And again, he has told us nothing.
I mean, you could be in a war and you wouldn't lose that many people.
By executive
So we
order,
designated
Jesus
fentanyl a
fucking
weapon of mass
Christ.
destruction. Conducted
I
numerous
love that all of his dumb shit is always in like all caps because he thinks that means like more important or more emphasis. Like his Truth Social posts always are full of random capitalizations that you would get from like your idiot dad who doesn't know how to use his fucking phone and he's sending Facebook messages to you.
military strikes against narco-terrorists operating in our hemisphere, including the water strikes. Drugs brought in by ocean. So I told you that we're down by, close to 100%.
Again, you can't just shoot at boats.
Somebody to pilot those boats. Very hard. They have to be people.
He has an interesting cadence to his voice. I mean, I guess, but again, it sounds like he's slurring his way through all of this shit.
People that don't watch television, don't read the news. And we just blew up their facility. They had a docking facility where the drugs were stored. And now we have a great relationship with Venezuela. We're getting along fantastically with the leadership in Venezuela, so we wouldn't have to do that. This was done before the attack. But we captured and brought to justice the outlaw dictator of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, who, through drugs, killed millions of people in our country. Tremendous drug dealer. Also sent millions of people into our country, including Tren de Aragua, the worst gang. They say it's the worst gang in the world. They took over parts of Colorado. They just take the apartment building. They just took it away. Just took it away like we're here. They cut the hand off one man.
Would that mean that what was done to Flint's water supply counts as WMD? I would like it to be. That would be awesome. Can I classify this dick as a WMD? My lips are a weapon of mass dick suction.
Because he called the police. Who called the police? I did. You took my apartment from me. Boom. No hand. This is what they sent us. Restoring law and
He's
order.
just saying shit
DC
again,
and
like
Memphis, federal task forces deployed massive numbers of federal law enforcement officers and National Guard to restore safety. Crime down in D.C. is almost down to nothing. D.C. was a very, very dangerous place, and I think you probably know better than I do. I have a lot of people in the media thanked me for that.
I fucking doubt it.
It's hard to thank me, but D.C. is now, look how beautiful. D.C. is now, you can walk right from here to a restaurant, right through the center of town. You can be with your child, with your loved one, with your lover. Your lover's not going to be killed anymore, so you can act like a real lover. But you can walk right through the middle of the town, and D.C. is beautiful again too. You notice we took all the fences down, almost all. The rest are coming down. We got the graffiti all off. National Guard's been amazing. We didn't tell them to do that. That's not their job description. But they were picking up garbage and everything. They were great. And I don't know. To me, a town.
I feel like that's not what the National Guard should be doing.
People. These are big, strong guys. Are bad guys. Look at them and they say, "We're not going to mess around." But what they don't know is that we took over 2,000 people permanently out of D.C. These were career criminals. But
I wish it was still that.
Seeing those people there. I went in a couple of times and had dinner.
Are you gonna grab some water?
I walked right down the middle of the street. I felt very safe. A year ago, I couldn't have done that. I would have been crazy to have done that. And Secret Service wouldn't let me do it. They weren't thrilled anyway, I will tell you. It wasn't like they were thrilled, but we did it, and it was great. But D.C. is a great thing. We have virtually no crime in D.C. anymore. And before we did this move, it was, and we could do the same thing with Chicago. You know, we brought Chicago down 25%, even though we just had a minimal crew there. We brought Wisconsin down. We brought Minnesota down, way down, even though everything's a fight, you know, because they want to keep those people that are lying on the floor. They want to keep those people in.
Yeah, there's an alternate reality where he's just like a mean drag queen instead of this.
Minnesota, but they really don't. I don't think the real people of Minnesota, it's a very corrupt place, and the elections are totally corrupt. I feel I won it all 3 times. Nobody's won that state since Richard Nixon. It's a rigged state. And the Somalians vote as one group, even if they're not citizens, and they vote as one group. And you know,
They can't vote if they're not
600,000 votes
citizens.
against you. They all ought to get the hell out of here. They're bad for our country.
That's literally just go back to your country. That's literally just go back to where you came from racism. That's cartoon clown racism. That's not your grandpa's racism. That's like the kind of racism that the villain in a TV show does because they want to show what racism looks like to children.
The largest reduction in violent crime on record. So this just came out nationwide over the last 11 months, achieved the largest reduction in violent crime on record, including the largest
My girlfriend
drop in
flosses
murders
at me.
ever recorded. Almost 2,000 lives were saved. That's despite the fact that we took in criminals under the leadership of the Democrats and Joe Biden.
Shut up. Again, it's like
motor vehicle
all he
theft.
is talking about is stuff that already happened. Talk to me about what is happening. I don't fucking care about all this shit.
Is down by
All he's doing is just saying all the cool shit I did. Look at all of the stuff I did. Look at all of the things that I did. Look at all of the awesome things I did. Aren't I so cool? Don't you want to fucking get on your knees and suck my dick and toes about it?
100,000.
He's like, how dare these people not grovel before me?
Nationwide, the motor vehicle theft was out of control, and now it's very much in control. It was down by more than 100,000 vehicles to a record low. Began the process of eliminating cashless bail policies across the nation. You got to get rid of your sanctuary cities, and I hope our people know that we're not going to pay sanctuary cities. We're not going to pay them anymore. They are sanctuary for criminals. They hold criminals. We're not going to pay. They can sue us,
That's
and maybe
fucked
they'll
up.
win. But we're not giving money to sanctuary cities anymore as of the beginning of the month. We began the process of eliminating the cashless bail. Well, cashless bail is where it all started. It's a disaster. And then other places. I don't know if it started in New York. I remember it starting in New York. So somebody comes in, murders somebody, and they let them out. No bail, no nothing. Basically, cashless bail means you just get the hell out.
That's not correct either.
And they go outside. We have one case where a guy murders somebody, gets released, and goes out and murders somebody. 2 people in one day.
Of course they are making it harder to bail yourself out of prison unless you are rich. They want more poor people in prison because if you're part of the prison industrial complex, then they can just control your labor. They don't need to pay you like a normal person or treat you like a normal person. They can just do whatever they want to you, and they can say you're a criminal, and they can disappear you to a fucking concentration camp.
No, we got to get rid of cashless bail. They got to pay, got to have bail. There's a reason for bail. Long tested. Signed an executive order to bring.
I don't think he knows what cashless bail is. That is not. That's not an explanation. Okay, well. Unfortunately, all of these top results, thank you Google, are entirely useless because that's all just talking about
Back
Trump's
mental
nonsense.
institutions and insane asylums. We're gonna have to bring them back. Hate to
Hi,
build those
baby.
suckers, but you got to get the people off the streets. You know, we used to have when I was growing up. We had in my area in Queens. I grew up in Queens. We had a place called Creedmoor. Creedmoor. Did anybody know that? Creedmoor. It was a big.
Hello,
I said, Mom, why are those bars on the building? I used to play Little League baseball there.
Back in the 1920s.
Who's quite the baseball player, you wouldn't believe. But I said to my mother, Mom, she would be there, always there for me. She said, son, you could be a professional baseball player.
No, sorry, it would be like the
I
1950s.
said, why are those bars on the windows? Big building, big, powerful building. It loomed over the park, actually. She said, well, people that are very sick are in that building. I said, boy, I used to always look at that building and I'd see big building, big tall building. It loomed over the park. It was sort of, now that I think it was a pretty unfriendly sight.
It's like too many people.
But I'll never forget, I don't know if it's still
He's
there.
done.
Because they got rid of most of them, you know, the Democrats in New York, they took them
I
down.
see what you were saying. He's still talking about Somalians because I think Somalians are the recent target because they are being used as the scapegoat for why ICE is attacking Minnesota. Because a YouTuber did a investigative journalism piece about the scams that are happening in childcare in Minnesota and claimed that it was all Somalian immigrants. So they're just using that as an excuse for all of the violence that ICE is doing in Minnesota.
Streets now. That's why you have a lot of the people in California and other places, they live in the streets. They took the mental institutions down. They're expensive. But I'd say, why does that building have those bars? Boy, it wasn't normal. You know, you're used to looking at like a window. But this one, you look at it, all this steel, vicious steel,
It's just
tiny windows, bars all over the place.
He's just waxing poetic about the past. This is nothing.
It's called a mental institution. That was an insane asylum. Designated Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, and many others. It is.
ICE is domestic
America's
terrorists.
respected again on the world stage. That's another topic.
No, it's not.
Obliterated Iran's nuclear.
America is not respected on the world stage. America has never been more clowned on the world stage than it is right now.
Enrichment capability, and Operation Midnight Hammer was one of the most successful anyone's ever seen. CNN fake news. I don't know where they are. CNN. Anybody from CNN here? Fake news. Nobody wants to raise their hand anymore. They
Yeah. He rambles through his sentences. He's not.
Well, maybe it wasn't that successful.
He's not coherent.
I was angry because these pilots took their life in their hands.
He's just talking as his brain goes from this to that.
Dead dark, gun shooting.
You can't stick to one thing.
Those beautiful B-2s, and every single bomb went down an air shaft and obliterated it. And CNN came out and said, "Well, maybe it wasn't." By a scam writer who wrote, you know, fake stories, a lot of fake stories on other topics, right? Because when we did it, we said that's a terrible thing. You know, the pilots came back and they said,
I'm losing my mind. This is nothing.
They did a great job. Then on top
He's
of
been
that, we
saying
launched
nothing.
from a submarine, about 30 Tomahawks on top of everything else. The place was obliterated. CNN said, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. Turned out it was worse than it was. You know who could tell you that? The Iranians would tell you that. Because if they do anything, they're going to have to start a brand new place. But they did an amazing job. That was like what we did with Venezuela. I mean, nobody's ever seen a military operation like that. Ended 8 unendable wars in 10 months. These were unendable wars. Cambodia and Thailand fighting for years Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, Pakistan and India. They were really going at it. 8 planes shot down. They were going to go nuclear, in my opinion. The Prime Minister
Did you
of
though?
Pakistan was here, and he said President Trump saved 10 million people and maybe much more than that. They're both nuclear countries. Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia were going to fight over a dam, and I got them to stop. I still got to work it out because they put a dam up in Ethiopia that stops the flow from a little river called the Nile. I always think of the Nile being in Egypt, you know, beautiful Nile with the pyramids, but they put a dam up. You know who paid for the dam? The United States of America. It's the biggest dam, I think, in the world. They put a dam up.
He's just fucking saying shit. This isn't real.
Why would we have done that? We financed it. This country would. I don't know. Maybe it was a Republican president, but I don't think it was. I think it was a Democrat.
Oh my God! You're just saying shit.
So Egypt basically is. You know, they don't have enough water in the.
This
Nile,
is the press
and they use that
conference. This
for,
is embarrassing.
A lot of things, including.
This is like the kind of talk that you would expect at like a Trump rally.
I mean, I don't know. They got a big dam. I got to work that one out now too. Armenia and Azerbaijan. President Putin told me, I cannot believe you settled that war. I've been trying to settle that war for 10 years. Armenia and Azerbaijan. They were fighting it for many, many years. And I ended up getting the heads of both countries in my office. The beautiful Oval Office, much more beautiful now than it ever was.
It's not. It looks so gaudy and ugly.
Said, you know, I've been the head of Azerbaijan for 22 years, and for 22 years I've been killing his people. And the other gentleman, and both very good guys, said, I've been here for 7 years, and for 7 years I've been killing his people. And they started over there, and within an hour they were next to each other, and by the time we ended, they were hugging each other, and it's been a great peace, you know?
You're
Should've
making
gotten the
shit up,
Nobel
dude.
Prize for each war, but I don't say that. I say millions and millions of people. And don't let anyone tell you that Norway doesn't control the shots, okay? It's in Norway. Norway controls the shots. They'll say, we have nothing to do with it. It's a joke. They've lost such prestige.
What are you talking
That's
about?
why I have such respect for Maria doing what she did. She said, I don't deserve the Nobel Prize. He does. When she got it, they said, wow, that's amazing. I thought President Trump would get it. President Trump deserves it. He ended up 8 wars. How nice, right? She's a good woman. Got
Clown.
all 20 living hostages returned to their families, and the remains, they all came out. We got the 20 living hostages. We got the 28 hostages. They have 1 left that we think we know where it is. Amazing. Looked like we weren't going to get anywhere near that. Now they've gotten almost. And more importantly, we got many more, hundreds. We got them all. If we didn't do it, you wouldn't have had, most of those people would have been dead. I don't know if that's covered properly, but you know, the 20 is great. They were the last
Again,
ones. I always said
when are we talking about Greenland?
We got the last 20, and we got close to 28 of the bodies of the dead. And to those
He's
parents,
just fucking
it was just as
Fordor.
important as getting their son back alive. They were.
I don't think that's
almost
true.
Even more intent on getting. They knew their son was dead. They wanted to get the body. I got him back.
I think I would rather the son be
The
alive.
Board of Peace, which I think is going to be amazing. I wish the United Nations could do more. I wish we didn't need a Board of Peace, but the United Nations, and you know, with all the wars I settled, the United Nations.
The fact, I would, again, that is fucking rich when the only countries that are opposed to a ceasefire in Israel are the United States and Israel. Like, in the United Nations. There have been so many votes on that. And like
Never happened
humanitarian
in
aid
one war.
crises and things like that. It's just
I
like,
mean, I guess I'm not blaming them. I didn't call them to help, but I got, you know, the presidents and prime
the
ministers.
world
together,
fucking
we
hates
got
us,
we
and
got
for good
along.
reason.
They like me. I like them. Every single one of them nominated me for a Nobel Prize. Every one of the wars, among many other people. nominated me for a Nobel Prize. But Putin told me, I cannot believe you got this war settled. I've worked on it for 10 years because it's his territory. Rescued 83 American hostages and citizens detained from abroad without paying a lot of money. Paid no money. Apprehended terrorists responsible for the Abbey Gate bombing that claimed the lives of 13 U.S. service members in Afghanistan, the lowest point in the history of our country. That was a Biden disaster. I was getting out, but I was getting out with dignity and strength. We were the boss. Oh, we were the boss. They wouldn't do a thing against us. And this very stupid person got in, and what a shame. They should have left from Bagram, which is the big military base, which has hundreds of acres around it. Should have left from Bagram. Terminated
Someone very
visas
stupid
to
did get in
Hamas
charge. That's crazy.
sympathizers and deported pro-jihad foreign nationals. Got NATO members to agree to raise defense spending to 5% of GDP from 2%, and they pay the 5%, and they didn't pay the 2%. And by the way, I did more for NATO than any other person alive or dead.
Wrong.
Nobody's done for NATO.
Wrong.
And I think for the most part, they'll tell you that. I think you could ask the Secretary General
Wrong.
about that.
No.
But he said it.
You're
I've
wrong.
done more for NATO than anybody.
That's not
I see
right.
all this stuff, but
That's
NATO
wrong.
has to treat us fairly too.
No, they don't.
The big fear I have with NATO is we spend tremendous amounts of money with NATO, and I know we'll come to their rescue, but I just really do question whether or not they'll come to ours. You know?
They shouldn't.
Just asking. Just saying, right? You remember during the debate? Just saying. Signed $1 trillion investment in U.S. military. And next year, we hopefully will go to a 1.5 trillion. We're building battleships that are 100 times more powerful than the battleships of World War II, which are the big, beautiful, those big, beautiful things with the guns. I said, what about bringing them out of dry dock?
Ow.
They said, sir, what we're building will blow them away. Think of it. These ships are 100 times more powerful than the battleships that you see on Victory at Sea. Do you ever see Victory at Sea?
Oh my God. He's talking about, he's reminiscing about like ancient history.
The Department of War, which everyone loves, by the way. Signed landmark critical minerals deals with Australia, Malaysia, Thailand, Ukraine, Japan, and many others. We're going to have so much rare earth. It's actually not that rare. Getting it processed is rare, but there's a lot of rare earth. There's a lot of earth around, I can tell you. Withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization where we were paying hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
That's so fucked up.
So we were paying $500 million a year, and China was paying $37 million a year. I said, why aren't we paying the same as China? They said, well, nobody asked. I said, China's got 1.4 billion people. We have 350 million, probably, with all the illegals, you know. China probably knows more accurately. But we have much smaller in terms of the number of people. We have a much more powerful military, but we have much smaller. I rebuilt the military during my first term, by the way. And while they gave away a lot to Afghanistan, the Taliban, which was just horrible seeing them, every year seeing them do that military down some dirty street, is a disgrace. But while Biden gave a lot of it away, it's a tiny fraction compared to what we did. I rebuilt the military, and now we're continuing to.
It's
to
just
build
like an exhausting torrent of bullshit nonsense. It just like rolls off of my brain. I don't even have anything important to say. All of this is just lies or nonsense.
And
he said nothing of value in this entire conference.
But we withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization. So
again, and we watched the Biden interview. I don't feel like this is nearly as bad as this.
100 million. They were paying 37 or 39 million, and I said, "How come?" So I withdrew, and they called. We'll give you the same deal that they had. I said, "Well, it should be less than that, because if they're at 37, and you have 3 times, 4 times."
It's also bad that we are not paying as much into the World Health Organization, because that means that the world cannot, like, we are doing that for a good reason, to to help the world in case of a crisis. If anything, you should be trying to convince other countries to be paying more rather than just getting out of it. That doesn't make any sense. It's the worst idea. The worst way you could go about with that information, even if you thought you were doing the right thing. By, like, thinking you needed to be even with the other countries or whatever, which is stupid, because that's not how, like, charity works. You give money because you want them to do something good with it. The more that you give, the more good they can do. Because they need to pay people. Because they need to, like, have money to do work and research. Like, that money goes to things that are then used to help people. The idea that helping people should somehow be profitable is so capitalism-brained. It's ridiculous to me.
The number of people, even maybe 5 times, I don't know. So it should be less, but I didn't want to chisel around. And I thought about it. So I could have taken 500 million to 37, and everybody knew it. I chose not to do it because it was actually very popular when I got out, because they were terrible. And so I chose not to take that deal. First thing Biden did is go back into it. You know what he paid? More than 500 million. So I actually called them. I said, you know, you can buy it for less. You can make a deal at 37. There's no reason to pay 500. They didn't care. They paid more than 500. Did you know that? They paid more than 500 million.
I literally just explained that it's just not about saving money. It's not about saving money, you big dumb idiot. It is not good to save money when you are a country like that. When you are trying to, like, support an organization that does things that are good for the world, it is not a good thing to not pay them.
Had 37. They were public about it. We'll give you the same deal that China has for 37. And they paid 500. They paid $500 million. That's the way you ruin a country. And it's the same attitude that, you know, you have on everything else with these people. They were terrible. The anti-American UN Human Rights Council we ended. The UN Relief and Works Agency we ended. And the fake Paris Climate Accord, which was a ripoff of America.
Oh my
God.
God.
We had to pay $1 trillion and they were paying nothing. China didn't kick in.
It's not about money. He
2035.
only understands money. He's like, if I'm paying money, it should be as little money as possible. Obviously. And not as if it's not good to pay more into this. What organization is this? This is the United States of America.
We're supposed
Oh, sorry, the WHO. They're talking about the WHO in that specific situation that I was thinking, the World Health Organization.
$1 trillion. Russia went to a standard of 1991, which was a dirtier standard. But we had to pay top dollar. So I terminated that.
It's not good. That's a bad thing.
Restored common sense,
It's always about money with these people. It's not, that's not how it works. Like, this is money that is, again, it's money that's being paid into something that is good for people, that will do good for people. Excuse me. And we should want to pay more. It's not about saving money. The WHO is hot garbage? You're a fucking idiot. Sorry, that's wrong.
Federal government and the private sector,
they're
gone. Everybody, they're gone. Terrible. Terminated the Green New Scam and ended the
That's bad.
Electric vehicle mandate. I love electric vehicles. That caused me a little problem with a man named Elon. But he understands, and he's a good guy. We get along, but I said, Elon, we can't have all electric cars. We just can't do it. I like the electric cars. I like his car. But in particular, I like his car. But we can't do that because some people don't want an electric car by 2030. And to build the power stations all over the country would have cost $4 trillion. $4 trillion. That's more than any.
Sorry, I gotta walk away for a second. I'm Like, I need to take an Advil. My head hurts so fucking bad. I've been trying to make my way through this, but it's like giving me a headache. I got Ajita. I'll be right back. I'll throw on some music real quick. I'm back. Sorry. Let's finish this shit up.
Any country has. If you got China, the United States, and everyone, you couldn't do it. And it would have taken years. And yet they were supposed to be switching over electric vehicle mandate. Some people don't like electric cars. Some people want hybrids. Some people want regular gasoline-powered cars. We have more gasoline than anybody. And now with Venezuela, we have 62% of the market when you include Venezuela. So I ended the
Which we
Greener
shouldn't,
scam,
because
and I
it's
ended
not
the
ours.
insane electric vehicle mandate. Now you can buy a gasoline-powered car, a hybrid, and you can buy a electric vehicle. I mean, if you think, if you want electric, you can buy it. Make a good deal on them right now because they made a lot of them. Permanently stopped Joe Biden's ridiculous CAFE standards. That's having to do with the environment. So ridiculous. Cancel the EPA's absurd, totally absurd tailpipe emission standard, which made you spend hundreds of thousands. It made for hundreds of thousands of cars. The numbers, the cost numbers were incredible that the consumer has to pay. Imposed 25% tariff on all foreign automobiles and 100% tariff on Chinese cars, which don't come into the country because of tariffs. Only because of tariffs. We didn't have tariffs, you wouldn't have any car. We have now more car factories being built in the United States than ever before because of tariffs. If they take those tariffs away, China will eat our lunch. They'll take all of our car business. Now, there's another way of doing it, but it's more cumbersome, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to scare you, but it's much more.
What do you mean you don't want to scare you? That's like all that you do. That's your job. Your job is to get up on the stage and scare people into like being a little more racist.
Not as good for national security as this. We have a perfect system right now. We're making a fortune. We've never been stronger, and I hope the Supreme Court does the right thing for our country, because if they don't, it's such a problem. It's just so, it would be so sad. We're doing so well because of tariffs. And the people that are heading up the lawsuit,
we aren't.
Like
tariffs are objectively detrimental. To say that they're not is just buying the lie and not looking at any of the evidence. Again, prices have increased. Even for gasoline, it's on a temporary drop right now in December, maybe, but like prices have still, they've been higher since his first term. There was a spike after COVID, but then, like, again, yeah, maybe gasoline has become steady because of the whole Venezuela thing, probably. But like, electricity is so much more expensive. Food, gas is way more expensive. Milk is more expensive. Ground beef is way more expensive.
Leonard Leo is bad guy. And people that are very China-oriented and foreign car-oriented and foreign business-oriented, but in particular China, they're suing to get rid of tariffs because they don't want tariffs, like Coke. Coke has businesses outside of the United States. If you have them outside, you don't want tariffs. But because of tariffs, they treat us well. Without tariffs, they would treat us very badly, as you saw for many years. They respect us more now than they ever have respected
Nobody
us
respects us.
by a lot. And revoked the California emissions waiver to stop San Francisco communists from regulating the automobile industry and destroying automobiles and the industry in the nation. I was with Bill Ford of Ford.
Saying communists
Motors,
for no
all
reason.
the people at General Motors
If people don't like them.
And they are making more money.
Not what
and
that
building
is.
more cars than they've ever. They are doing so good. All because of tariffs.
Communists largely known to be in control of capitalist industry. Communists largely known to be in control of the means of production.
And what I've done.
Famously.
Their plants all in the United States. Reopened Anwar for drilling. That's a big deal. Launched a massive Alaskan pipeline project to export natural gas to Asia. We made a deal with South Korea and with Japan that gives us money, the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. Signed executive
You're just
orders
saying
to end
words.
Biden's war on coal and I say clean, beautiful coal. I never say the word coal. It has to be.
Oh yeah, just, you know, the black lung rock.
Preceded by the words clean.
It's not
beautiful
clean.
coal. And put miners back to work. The miners love Trump. I think I got 100% of their vote.
I don't think that's correct.
We banned transgenders from the military. We don't want transgender in the military. Ordered.
Not only that, but you said that all trans people are, it is impossible for a trans person to live a life of honor. You know.
The patriots expelled from our military with full back pay. So we had some people that were terminated and they're coming back into our military. Fired the woke boards of visitors at our military service academies. The boards of visitors were run by radical left, maybe communists, maybe not, but they were still heavily radical.
Just saying shit, saying whatever he
Signed
wants.
An executive order to remove anti-American propaganda from federal museums and national parks. Required the federal employees to return to work in person or be fired.
Which
We
is
don't want them
bad.
sitting in their home or in their bed working. We want them in an office.
Again, that doesn't mean anything. Like, bringing people in from work from home situations doesn't make them work harder. It just makes middle managers, which is what he is the ultimate middle manager. It makes middle managers feel like you're doing more work because they can see you. Yeah, all this has been for an hour is just him regurgitating fear-mongering bullshit.
In Washington, D.C., or wherever it may be. Then we've largely taken care of that mess. That was crazy. I guarantee you they're out on the ball fields. I guarantee you they're out playing golf. And you can't run a country or a company that way. I think it's happening even so with countries and companies. But
It's
we
not
have so many
about
of our
happier
federal
workers.
workers that
They
would
don't
come
want
into work,
happier workers. That's actually bad for them, like in their equation. They don't want you happy. They want you miserable. They want you tired and miserable and poor so that they can take advantage of you easier. So that you won't ask questions when they tell you to do things. So that you'll work extra hours for not enough pay. So that you won't leave your career because it's all that you can get. And if you lose this job, then you're going to be on the fucking street because you can't afford to put anything away for savings. Working from home actually started to teach people to respect their own work-life balance more. And they didn't want that. They want to build up these corporate, like, communities, right? They want to build like the work family, right? Where your coworkers are your first level of loyalty. Or they're the people that you see the most often. So that, you know, you're more willing to do things for them when they ask. It's all manipulation tactics. Keeps us isolated, and it creates, it's like we humans need community to be able to work, so we'll give them community, but make sure it's community that's loyal to us.
An order banning
And
all
in a
government
controlled space
censorship
that we
and
can
restoring
control.
free speech. Made it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders. This was not a tough one. Two genders. Can anybody guess what they are? Male
And non-binary.
and female. I think
Also, male and female are not genders. Male and female are sexes. If you're saying there are two genders and you say the two genders are male and female, then you are an idiot.
know that too, but they refuse to admit it. Ban the use of puberty blockers, hormone injections, and other chemical and surgical mutilation of children. Can you imagine saying this 15 years ago? That we banned the use of puberty blockers, hormone injections, and other chemical and
Which is bad.
surgical mutilation of our children.
And that's not happening. That's made up. You're making that up. That's not a real thing. And even if it is a real thing that's happening, you wouldn't actually care. You do not give a shit about mutilating the genitals of children, you circumcised idiot.
You know, when I say it, I say, do I have to say that? I actually asked my people today, yes, sir, because people, that's where the country went. Banned men from playing in women's sports.
No, you didn't.
Big Supreme Court case, and I mean, I can't believe it. Some of the justices were fighting hard for men to be able to play in women's sports. A couple of them.
That's not what that is. Not what that is.
I think anybody that rules that way should lose a lot of credibility. But we banned men from playing in women's sports. All you have to do is look at the records. Look at weightlifting records. Look at swimming records.
Just catching fucking strays. Again.
It's not fair. It's very
you're not. That's not what it is.
Banned transgender ideology and critical race theory from our schools. Secured unprecedented settlements with Brown University, Columbia University, and many other colleges, including the University of
literally killing me.
Wharton School of Finance. To restore fairness and merit, we're working with Harvard right now. They've been.
My loves, I think I gotta stop. I'm losing it. I'm losing the thread, and I can barely focus. I gotta stop and go lay down for a little while. I'm so sorry, friends. I tried to keep it going as long as I could, but talking so much has gotten me so fucking exhausted. I can't. If you want to see the rest of this, there's another like half hour of it. I'm gonna quit for now. I love you all. I'm gonna find you somebody to raid. Link it in the Discord, I can do that. That. Actually, let's put this in news current events. Alright. Friends, I'm gonna find somebody to raid. You have all been lovely. I will talk to you all very soon. I'm gonna be back on Thursday probably if I'm feeling better. Otherwise, we'll take a day off because I thought I was gonna be able to handle this. But 3 hours of talking has put quite a toll on me. Alright, I will be back. So long, everybody.